Hello and welcome. So today is another part of our embroidery series. We are going to talk about our thread or floss. We're going to talk about several different ways to thread a needle, several different ways to tie a knot, and getting ready so we can start our stitches, which will be in the next video. Hello and welcome. I am Jackie with Jackie Russell Creates, where we talk about everything quilting and embroidery. They go hand in hand. I give tips, tricks, and techniques so you can conquer that next project, whether it's quilting or embroidery. But first, got to talk about our sponsor today. Our sponsor today is from KitLife. They are a replica shop with authentic grade 1-to-1 to the original. They have bags and purses. So they sent me a bag and they went to show on how I would use it with my quilting or my embroidery. So let's open it up and see what kind of bag I got. So it's a Louis Vuitton replica. It came in a box, and then it has this box, which is really nice. Magnetic, opens up, and inside is in a bag. They also included a gift bag if we're going to gift it, and some ribbon to tie it up. And inside this bag is obviously another bag. Very nice presentation. And then we have, I like that color. Our bag. Inside our bag, we have the straps that close it there. We have a short handle with some really nice clips on there. We got a long strap. Let's see what it is. So on one side it says Louis Vuitton. On the other side it has some embroidered, that's even nice. It's our theme, embroidered decals. It comes with that air thing to keep it in shape while it was being transported. And then it's got a little card with it, so you can write on it for if you're giving it away. And then a little book. So how I would use my bag is if I'm going away for a trip, I would be able to put my floss inside in the center pouch so you didn't lose it. Then you could take your hoop and put in there with your pattern or your fabric, and then you can always fold your pattern down in it. And that's how I would use my bag. Probably how I would use it. If you're quilting, you can use it for your quilt as you go, or English paper piecing, where you're quilting those little hexagons together. You can put some of them in and work on them when you're out and about waiting for your kids to get done with their sports or whatever they may be. So they are offering you 15% off. There will be a link in the description, as long as the one across the screen here. You will use my code Jackie15 to get 15% off your order. That is kitlife.ru. And so now, let's get on to this project. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is our floss. I like to use DMC floss. It comes in a huge array of colors. And these are the color palette that I chose to do my design in. I will list these numbers down in the description below for you. But they come in a skein. This is called DMC floss. You buy it in a skein. Now, in the skein is 6 threads, individual threads that are twisted around and intertwined with each other. And that's what we use to embroider with. So here is a pro tip that I'm going to give you. You're going to have the brand logo, whether you're using DMC, JMP, Cloaks and Clark, whatever brand you're using, you'll have a logo. And then you're going to have another piece of papery holding it together that has a number on it. Each end has an end, which is where they cut off the thread. You want to pull from the number end. When you pull from the number end, it's just going to come out really nice. If you pull from the other end, okay, here it is. So as you're pulling from the you can see it like wrapping up and pulling there, making a knot, and it's all crunching up in together like that. We don't want that. So make sure you pull from the number end. When I'm working with the floss, I like to cut it at about 12 inches to 18 inches, maybe a little bigger, about the length of my arm. And then we're just going to snip it. So then how I like to do, when I embroider, I separate them. I'm normally working within 2, 3, or 6 threads. So I like to divide it in half. So you have 3 and 3. I kind of separate it like this, and then I hold these to the ends with my finger in the middle. Then I'm going to take my other hand and just guide it down the thread. And it will help untwist it. Then I can move down and work it through. Go nice and slow so you don't get a tangle. And then I will take, once I have them apart, I will take and I will run my finger and hand over them just to kind of help straighten them out. So that's one way. You could even go further and take each individual strand apart. And I will just take it and then just pull it and then straighten out the other strands and do it again. So I have three strands now, 3 threads. And then you can just put them lining up the ends again and then straightening them out. And what this does, it will help your thread lay flat against your fabric when you're ready and doing the embroidery parts. You can see it just lays nice and flat. So that's how you separate. If I'm using all 6 strands and I'm making like a French knot, I will not separate because you're twisting it up anyways. So we're going to start with the three strands. Now there's a couple ways to thread a needle. One way I like to do is I will take and bend my thread over my needle, pinch it between my fingers, pull my needle through, and I'm pinching that thread. And then I can just easily wiggle the needle and pull it through. Another way is to use a needle threader. This one has 3 different ones depending on what you're threading through your needle, how many strands and things like that. You just put your eye on top of the one. Most likely you're going to be using the thin one. Then you put your needle in or your thread through, hold it, and then pull your needle and it will thread. The other way, I like to just take the end and I just kind of moisten it through my lips. It gets it all stuck together, and I hold the thread in my right hand and my needle in my left hand. You can switch them whichever way is comfortable for you. And I just kind of poke my thread through the needle and then pull it through and pull it through. Now you have it. And some people say you don't knot when you're starting to embroider. I knot my ends. So there's a couple ways that you can knot. Here are 3 that I use. I will just wrap it around my finger and take my ends, poke it through, and then just pull the thread, the knot down. And I will do that twice depending on how many strands I'm using. And then just try to make sure to get the knots on top of each other. And now you're ready to begin. The other way I do it is I will take my end of my thread and pinch it between my thumb and my pointer, and I will hold my needle right there as well. I'll take my right hand and twist my thread around the top of my needle 2 times, holding that twist down with my thumb. I'm just going to pull my needle through. And then you just tie off your knot. And now you're ready to embroider. Now, the third way is I just wrap the thread or floss around my finger, holding the end, and so it kind of crosses over, and then I'm just going to roll my thumb and forefinger until it's off my finger, and that's just going to twist up the floss, and then I just pull it, and there's my knot. And you're ready to start embroidering. It is that simple. You just separate your floss into as many strands as the pattern suggests. You have 3 ways to thread your needle, and then 3 ways to tie a knot. So I hope you got something out of this video, whether it is learning the different ways to tie a knot, to start your embroidery, the different ways that I use to thread a needle, or even just how to separate your thread. In the next video, we're going to be starting our projects and working with our jar pattern and learning a couple stitches. If you got something out of this video, maybe give it a thumbs up and share it with one of your friends. Maybe hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so then you know the next time I upload the video so we can start our project. And if you want to support the channel more, maybe think about hitting the join button and becoming a member so you can get a lot more perks and behind the scenes type stuff for my channel. Or maybe just buy me a coffee with the link in the description below. You can always visit my Amazon store, which has all the products that I like to use. So coming up on screen now is a video that YouTube feels that you may be interested in. If you're not interested in that video, maybe you're interested in this playlist that has all kinds of embroidery tips, techniques, and tricks. So until then, happy quilting and embroidering, my friends. And let's thank KitLife once again for the lovely bag that they sent me. And remember, you can get 15% off your order with the link in the description below.